Get stoked!
Welcome to the first episode of our podcast, Get Stoked, where we will delve into various subreddits to find interesting stories and hopefully spark a good conversation. I am your host, Ty.
And I'm your other host, Evan. So for those of you who might not know what Reddit is, it's a social media platform described as the front page of the internet, a collection of just forums and communities that cover a variety of topics.
Yeah. So before we get started, I guess we want to introduce ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So my name's Evan. I'm a college student. I guess I like to play video games. I do photography, and I like spending time with my girlfriend. So.
I'm Ty. I'm also a college student. I enjoy playing video games, doing photography, and spending time with my boyfriend. So
yeah, we're pretty much the same person.
We're exactly the same.
So anyway, well, that's not a lot we know, but hopefully as you watch us and hear some of our stories, you'll get to know a little bit more about us. So enough about us. Let's get into our today's topic. So for today, we're talking about dreams, the crazy world of what goes on inside our head while we sleep. So, before we jump into a subreddit, I just want to ask you, Ty, so do you remember a lot of your dreams?
I remember lately a lot.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. I just, all of a sudden, everything starts coming back to me all the time.
Sometimes I think I can remember dreams that I've had from, when I was a kid, but, there's sometimes where I'll wake up in the morning and, I won't remember anything that I just dreamed about. So it depends. But I know most nights that I'm dreaming.
Yeah.
I feel like almost every night I have, some sort of dream, whether it's super vivid or just something simple, but I know I dream almost every night.
Sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be like, I just had the most mind-changing, world-altering dream, and then I don't remember what it is. But I know I had something.
Yeah, exactly.
It drives me insane.
All right. So for the first subreddit, I'm not going to read the paragraph, but I think this is an interesting thing for us to talk about. This Redditor, I looked on r/lucid dreaming. He says, has anyone experienced going back to the places they had already visited once in their other dreams? So I actually have a specific example of this that I do remember. It was this party, but it was at my babysitter's house, but the outside was completely different from the inside. So it was but I remember being there. I don't remember what I did there, but I remember a couple weeks later, I had another dream where I went back to that same. It was almost going back to that same episode and not rewatching it, but it was different activities, but the same place I was in. So
really,
I have done that before. Yeah, it's weird, and it's happened a couple times. And sometimes the dreams will be months apart, but my mind can specifically piece together that location and the same place, almost exactly. So it's weird.
Huh? For you, is it a real? It's a real place that exists in the world, and you go there in your dreams?
It depends. Sometimes it's a real place, sometimes it's not. That place was real, but the inside, like I said, the inside and the outside were completely different. But the outside was exactly how I remember. I can drive past it and I'm yeah, that's exactly it. But the inside was this completely different thing that I've never even been to before. So
really,
yeah, it's crazy.
I don't think I've ever experienced that before.
But yeah, so you never revisited a dream that you've had before?
I've gone back. I've had moments where I wake up from a dream and I'm why did I just wake up? That was so awesome. And then I've been able to click back into it.
Fall back asleep into it.
Which is so cool. That's the coolest. I feel powerful when I do that. I'm fuck yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to dream about something but then just not been able to?
I have. Well, I used to be into the I used to really like the concept of lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
And I would do research on how you would try to control your dreams or whatever. And one of them was you would write down I will dream about blah blah blah. I will dream about blah blah blah. Never got it to work, but
yeah, there's crazy ways to lucid dream. I've with all the nightmares I used to have as a kid, I never wanted to do it because I'm I don't want to get into that side of my mind and then just be stuck somewhere where it's absolutely petrifying.
Yeah, and you also have night terrors, right?
Not as much anymore. You have to trigger them at this point, but I used to a lot when I was a kid.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So all right, well I'll switch it over to you. I'll let you read one of your subreddits.
Okay, one of mine. I think one of my favorite ones that I just saw. This one I saw a couple of months ago, actually. I just awoke from a dream. This is on r/dream. I just awoke from a dream where I was convinced that the people in it were real people from around the world experiencing it as a shared dream. I became lucid and gathered about 15 people and made them promise me to go to reddit.com/r/dreams to find each other. I know this is crazy, but here I am.
No way.
Yeah. I remember reading this, like, it was posted about 5 months ago, and I remember reading it, I was like, oh my god, please, 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 please. But it seems like no one really realized it, but then, like, people got into all these really, like, in-depth, like, they were like, well, you know, like, there's a dream theory that you, like, go to a different dimension or something. That's
crazy, yeah.
And so you're probably talking to people in a world where, like, their Reddit is different than our Reddit, and so, like, maybe they're all posting on Reddit too, like, hoping to find you, but you guys will never meet because, like, you're in different dimensions.
It's like a whole new level of dreaming. Like, I think of it as, like, just, like, exploring your subconscious and, like, just, like, the things that you think about, like, but you don't really think about on a daily basis. But that whole idea, like, you see, that's like some movie shit right there. But
yeah.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, I find I've always wanted to have, like, a shared dream.
Yeah. Do you think they're, like, they actually exist? Like, you could share a dream with someone?
I don't know. I don't know if it's, like, a shared dream or if it's pure coincidence. But, like, if it's coincidence, like, sometimes people will be like, oh, yeah, like, I had this dream about, like, X, Y, and Z. And then another person would be like, I also had that.
Same fucking dream, yeah.
And, like, the details will be so specific that I'm like, how can your mind, like, even if it was random chance, like...
Yeah, I mean, you got to think of the probability of you guys having that same dream. Like,
same dream, same
like,
night.
Yeah, same night now.
Same, like, weird-ass, like, invention of the mind. Like, it just, sometimes it's like, whoa.
Well, I feel like a lot of our dreams, like, are just our subconscious feelings. So you will see, like, a lot of people who, like, have similar dreams, but, like, I feel like it's almost impossible to have, like, an exact dream like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's my turn to pull up another one. So so this is another one from r/lucid dreaming. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's recording. Yeah, it just turns off. This one says, I asked a lucid dreamer to show me a color a color that I've never, like, that humans can't see. So this guy essentially, he was able to see this color that he can't even describe. So it's like, I guess what he's saying, he's like, imagine if the color yellow didn't exist, like, how would you be able to describe that? And, like, he just can't. He wasn't able, like, could you imagine that, like, seeing something like that? My question is, like, how can you perceive something that doesn't exist?
Yeah.
Like,
so
I mean,
he says that he saw
a color that doesn't exist. How does that work?
I can't even wrap my mind around that.
Like, that's like inventing a whole new color, and, like, that's crazy. I mean, like, I think I told you this before, but, like, you know, the reason that we usually wake up when we die in our dreams is because, like, we can't perceive what life is like after death, like, our brains can't. Mm-hmm. So, like, how is your brain able to, like, perceive a completely new color like that?
Yeah.
Like, especially with, like, you know how, like, every person you've seen in your dreams is somebody you've seen at least once in your life. So, like, wouldn't that mean that, like, you'd have to have seen, like, something like that, like, of this color in order to experience this?
Yeah. I guess. I mean, like, yeah. That's something that will always bug me, is the fact that other colors exist, but we won't be able to see them. Not to get off of the topic of dreams, but, like, for example, there are shrimp with 13 cones, and we have 3. So, like, shrimp are seeing colors that we will never be able to fathom.
That's awesome.
Mostly in, like, the ultraviolet and, like, infrared range, but, like, that's, like, a concept of just, like, waves of energy to us, and to them, like, we will never be able to experience what that guy says he experienced, but that's, like, crazy to me. Yeah,
that's crazy. The other thing, like, I just said, like, can you believe that, like, you know, although, like, you could have a dream of, like, a bunch of random people, and you've at least seen each of them once in your life, and you're able to put that together in your dream.
Yeah, I was actually talking about this yesterday. My friend was, like, telling the story about a dream that she had where she said, yeah, I was walking into class and my professor was in, like a maid costume.
Ooh, sexy.
But when he turned around, it was just his ass.
Oh.
and she was like, I don't know, I couldn't look at him the same for the next couple of days. But, like, I was thinking, because I knew that, like, the face fact, and I was like, well, you've never seen, like, your professor's ass, right?
So how were you able to picture his ass?
I was like, what if, like, that face rule applies to, like, anything.
So, like,
so, like, your mind subconsciously was like, we need an ass. And,
so, like, put your own ass on it.
Grafted someone else's ass, like, onto this professor. Like, I just love the image of, like, I don't know, like, that really got me going.
That's crazy. Gotta think, too, like, so are you subconsciously wishing that you could see your professor's ass?
Yeah, like, Do you think that dreams have meaning? Like, if you have a dream that you're, like, murdering your best friend, or if you have a dream that you're cheating, do you think that actually means that you, like, are angry at your best friend, or that you want to cheat? Or do you think it sometimes is just, like, brain garbage?
I honestly don't know, because, like, I've had dreams where, like, my girlfriend hates me and, like, leaves me and cheats on me, but I know that she would never do that, so it's, like, I don't know. I guess, like, sometimes it might just be, like, our fears. So, like, I think maybe the reason I had that dream where she cheated on me is because, like, I am afraid that she might cheat on me. But if I had a dream where, like, I murdered somebody, I don't think it'd be, like, because I want to murder somebody. I think it's a mix of maybe a little bit of both, of, like, brain garbage and your subconscious thoughts. But
yeah,
it's hard to, like, evaluate that.
Yeah, no, I it's hard because it's, like, in certain instances, you want dreams to mean something. Like, if you have a dream about, like, being super successful or something,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, you're like, oh, like, I hope that's, like, the future for me. But then, like, something shitty happens, and you're like, that can't be me.
Yeah.
No way.
I mean, most of my dreams have been, like, stories. Like,
yeah,
this, like, this crazy, like, adventure that, like, my mind goes on. It's, like, has nothing to do with anything relevant, but it's just a neat story. Like, I remember having this one where, like, there was this girl, and, like, there was, like, this witch thing that, like, and we were, like, at this, like, army base or whatever, and, like, we had to, like, get away from this witch thing, and we ended up getting down into the sewer, and then we found this little girl, and it turned out that she was, like, the younger version of the witch that we just fought. But, like, in order to get down to the sewer, we went down into my room at my house, and there was a bunker down there,
What?
and that bunker led down to a sewer, and it ended there. And then, like, a week later, I picked that dream right back up. So it started out back at the sewer again, and then we got in this car and drove away, and, like, into the woods or whatever, and then we were at this cabin, and the witch thing came back. So, you know,
what the hell?
Yeah, it's dreams like that I'm like, there's no way these can have any meaning. But like,
also, like, it can't be brain garbage, because, like, those were two, like, connected stories.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not like even I was trying to have those dreams again. It just naturally happened. Like when I lay down to sleep at night, sometimes I'll, like, just, like, let my mind wander, but I never, like, say I want to hop back into this. It's like crazy junk. Like, I think yesterday, you know, that how I told you about how, like, my girlfriend texted me that her power went out, and I had a dream that I was in Kutztown, and the power went out. But then after that, I was at the laundry factory from Breaking Bad, and they were pulling out these laundry things, and inside were, like, these, like, little monsters, and because they were trying to smuggle them out, like drugs, but instead they were, like, these monster things. And then the main guy of the thing found them, and they pulled all these monsters out and shotgunned them all to death. So I was like, this super vivid, like, disturbing thing that I had to just watch from a distance. But yeah, I don't know.
You the texting your girlfriend about the power outage. Last year when I was an ed major, we had to do, like, active shooter training, and I remember getting really upset, like, during the training, and I was like, what if, like, I was, like, kept checking my phone, and I was like, what if, like, my boyfriend at the time was still in high school, so I was like, what if something's happening right now, and, like, what if I'm gonna get a text and he's like, something bad is happening at his school, because you just get scared of that thing when you're learning about, like, how to respond to it.
Yeah.
And, like, I was like, you know what, no, I can't, I'm gonna put my phone away, and I put my phone away, and then he texts me right after class, and I think I told you about this last year, but it was so long ago.
Yeah.
He was like, Ty, like, last night I had a dream that, like, someone came to our school and I got shot.
Jeez.
And he's just like, the last thing I was thinking about was, like, you freaking out about me and being worried. And I was like, I like, wanted to lock myself in my room all day, because it was, like, the same time, like, it was right after that class that he told me about that dream.
Yeah. I mean, that's, like, that thing that, like, sometimes you dream about things and, like, they end up coming true.
Yeah.
So, like, I haven't had, like, anything extreme, but I'll be, like, sitting in class and, like, it'll be, like, almost like it clicks, like, in my head, like deja vu. And I've also heard that there's, like, other theories about that, like temporary memory loss or whatever, but I could swear, like, I've had these dreams before, and, like, there'll be these moments where everything just falls into place, and it's the craziest thing. And I have a story I want to tell you about that, but I think I'll save it for a little bit later, just because it's, like, I think it's, like, one of the craziest things I've ever done, but
okay.
I'll save that for a little bit later. But
I have another one if you want.
Yeah, let's hop back into our subreddits.
Okay, so this one is also on r/dreams, and it's posted by Irrational Mourner. I just like that name.
That's a pretty cool name.
But I like it because it's also tied in. I feel like I've lost a loved one. Help. Let me read a little bit about it. Last night I had a dream that I met a girl and fell deeply in love with her. We were together for a long span of time during this dream, and while there were some sexual parts of the dream,
Hell
they didn't
yeah.
seem to be the focus. They didn't seem to be the focus. It was mostly us doing normal things together, just living life. What was the most vivid part of the dream was the profound connection we had. I have never felt anything like it. It redefined my definition of a soulmate. I've had dreams similar to this, and they haven't really bothered me very much, but there was something different about this one. It wasn't a lucid dream, but very vivid. When I started to wake up, the only thing I could feel was her fading away. I desperately tried to hold on to the dream, but it was too late.
Oof.
I was awake and she was gone. She didn't exist in real life. All day today, I haven't been able to get this woman out of my mind. I keep remembering things we did together, inside jokes we had, memories of this relationship that had never happened. I really feel like I lost a loved one, and I am actually depressed. Here's an oof. I'm also married in real life, but while I was with the same person in the dream, while I was the same person in the dream, it was like some other universe or timeline where we had never met.
Jeez.
Anyway, writing about this has helped, but advice or insight would be appreciated. Is it normal to feel a strong connection to a dream character as if they were a real person and an important part of your life?
Well, I mean, I feel like that's just a manifestation of what he wants in real life. So, I mean, I think it's crazy, though, like, to have all that happen in one night and you wake up and boom, it's gone.
Yeah, like to the concept of like having a lifetime
With someone
and then
waking up.
Like, I'm terrified of that happening
Yeah,
to me
same.
now.
Yeah.
That's like such a fear of mine, is that like I'm gonna wake up and they're gonna be like, cool, like how was your nap? And like all of this would be nothing.
Yeah, that's how I feel that way too. It's like, could you just imagine that, like, you're in a coma right now and it's all just one big dream?
Oh, there was on TikTok a girl, like, people got really upset at her because she got viral for it, a video where it was just a song playing in the background, and it said, like, we have integrated this into your subconscious, like, you've been in a coma, we need you to wake up now.
Jeez.
Like, that's what she said, and people were like, this is such an anxiety, like, trigger, like, please stop, this is freaking us out.
What do you think people think about when they're in a coma? Do you think they dream, or
That's actually a really good question.
what goes on in their head? Because sometimes, like, you know, their minds are active, but like, and I know sometimes, like, they can hear what's going on the outside. Does that factor into what they're seeing? Like, what do they see on the inside?
Do people dream in comas? Their brains often show no signs of the normal sleep-wakefulness cycle, which means they are unlikely to be dreaming, yet many people who have recovered from comas report dreams into which something of the outside world is penetrated.
That's crazy.
So, like, I guess, like, when people do talk to you in, like, a coma...
It comes in through the dream. That's kind of neat, because, like, I always imagine, like, if your, like, mind is awake in the coma and your body is not, like, what do you think about all day? Like, would that drive... Do you think people, like, ever get driven mentally insane because, like, they're stuck inside their own thoughts for so long?
I mean, I would, but...
And there's only so much you can dream about. But, I mean, I guess not, given some of the crazy dreams that I've had, but...
Yeah, I wonder if your mind just keeps recycling stuff and, like, just, like, tries to take as much from the outside world as it can, like, through hearing and stuff. But...
Here's a fun idea. Do you ever think that, like, we will be able to, like, extract what we're dreaming about and, like, display it somehow, or...
I'm sure eventually somehow someone will figure that out.
I feel like before that we have to digitalize consciousness first. Yeah. So,
but like also that it kind of scares me because until we understand like what dreams are, like does it mean like if I have a dream about cheating, does it mean I want to cheat, or is my mind just like tonight you're gonna cheat? Enjoy the show.
Just completely random?
Because like if then all of a sudden like you know my boyfriend wakes up and he turns over and he looks at like my dream app or whatever, and he like it plays cheating, like me cheating. It's like, oh, okay, well now let's fight.
Well, that begs to another question. Do you think it's fair for like a spouse to get mad at their spouse for like having a dream in which they were doing something with someone else? Like, is that fair?
I personally I don't care. Like because I understand that like even if you're in a relationship, like there are still sexual desires and you can't control your dreams unless you're like a lucid dreamer or something. At the end of the day, like okay. Like
don't think too much into it. Like, you know, if you start thinking like, oh my god, he had a dream about cheating, that means he's probably cheating, and then they drive themselves insane. But like in reality, it's just like, I don't know why I had that dream. I don't have any intention of cheating. Just believe me.
My boyfriend actually had a dream about having like a threesome with a friend of ours like recently, but like it was a friend that like definitely wouldn't like really do anything with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we love him as a friend, but and it was just like weird. But he also said it was him, but it also was not him at all.
Yeah.
And like that happens a lot, I think, in dreams where you're like, it was you, but
it
wasn't you.
Yeah.
Like I knew, like I told you guys about this, but I also had a dream where like conceptually I knew that I was with you guys,
Mm-hmm.
but in my dream, you were like monstrosities. It was freaky.
I see how you see us there, Ty. Just
I'll tell you. I'll tell you that in a bit.
Okay.
Do you have any more?
Yeah, I do have a couple more. Yeah, this one says I've mastered flight. So he said, had my second lucid dream that lasted longer than 15 seconds. That's more than me in bed. In my first lucid dream, I tried flying to impress some people in the dream, and I spun out of control and had to ask one of the NPCs to help me out and stop me. This dream I came to in a lecture hall, and after a few seconds I realized it was a dream. Immediately I proclaimed, "This is a dream, folks," and no one reacted. So I got up in front of the class, deleted the lecturer, just deleted the lecturer, and began to float. It was very slowly. It was very slow. It felt like the room was dropping rather than I was floating. Once I was about a meter off the ground, no one was reacting. They looked at me like the NPCs in Inception look at someone within someone else's dream. I got annoyed at how non-dynamic the dream people were and gestured my hand to the left, and they all flew in the direction that like they were hit by the wind. I dropped to the ground and walked out of the class into a hallway from a school. I went to in real life. I then spaced out after a reset where I became aware of the sound of my fan. I let myself go until I couldn't hear it anymore, and I took control in a field. I moved my arms and then flew around for a bit, but while in the sky I spaced out, and while trying to reset I felt my body wasn't tired enough to go back to sleep. And I slowly began to regain feeling in my limbs until I finally awoke. So I guess it's just like lucid dreaming in general. I just think it's like so crazy, and like I feel like a lot of people just try to fly. Like,
yeah.
I guess it's like, I don't even know like I said, I've never done it, but I don't even know what I'd want to do if I was aware I was dreaming. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe in my mind, like with some of the crazy stories I've had that I'll be able to think of something creative, but I just feel like right now I couldn't think of anything I'd want to dream about, you know?
I think I've had one, maybe. And I basically, I didn't realize it. It was a cool dream to begin with, and then I realized it was a dream because of how absurd it was. And then I just, I didn't do anything, and I let the dream run its course.
Yeah.
Which I wish, if I could go back in time, I'd be do something, have fun with it. But it was, my friends and I all got superpowers, and we were, this gang. And, we would just, but all of a sudden I was in a Super Mario type world.
Yeah. Oh boy.
As person with superpowers, and it was a fun time, and I don't even remember what. I think my power was ice, because I used to be obsessed with Iceman from X-Men.
Is it because you found him attractive, or?
Okay, that's beside the point. But I also was a hockey player. And
yeah.
I skated.
Well, don't you think it's crazy that our brains can't even realize that we're dreaming when we're dreaming?
That freaks me out.
That you have to force yourself. I've seen ways you write something on your hand and you look at it for a couple of minutes before you go to bed, and then when you're dreaming, if you look at your hand and it's not there, usually it snaps your brain out of it or whatever. And I've also seen some more obscure ways of doing it where there's you can get a ring that goes around your dick and then it vibrates in the middle of the night to wake you up. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's something like that. It's something crazy.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's the whole point is to make your mind aware that you are dreaming, and then it's crazy because then you're in your own subconscious walking around as yourself.
I've heard of the reality checks where people will form a habit I'm gonna count my fingers every 10 minutes, and then they just start doing that throughout their day. They'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then when you're in your dream, if you have a habit, you'll do it, and then you'll be I have 14 fingers, something's up.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's a lot of ways to go about doing it. There's a lot of preparation to it too. But it's I don't know. I don't really have any interest in doing it.
I'm scared too, because I also heard it's a slippery slope, and you can land yourself into sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
And that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I've been there and done that a lot. I've had a lot of sleep paralysis when I was a kid. It is the most terrifying thing, because apparently like you're in a certain like stage of your sleep cycle where like you're asleep but you're awake. You're like half and half, and then your brain starts to hallucinate because it thinks that like you're still sleeping. So like, and then usually with those cycles, your mind is associating with fear. So like for me, I've had it happen a couple of times now. Like the first time it happened was like I was like in my bed, and then these guys came up. This was in my old house. These guys came up my stairs in my room, and I couldn't move. Like I could move my eyes around in my head, but like I couldn't open my mouth or anything. And these guys just came and they grabbed me by my feet and like pulled me down the stairs. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was scary shit. And the second time it happened, I was also in that same room, and this like monkey thing flew out into a window and then like landed on top of me and was about to stab my eyes out. So
Jesus.
But yeah, you can't do anything, and it's
God.
Some people have sleep paralysis, but like they don't see scary shit. But like I don't know why my mind immediately goes to, hey, that thing's gonna fucking kill you. And yeah, but
did you? I don't know if this is oversharing. If it is, we can bleep it or something.
No, I don't care.
Did you have a sleep paralysis episode like one of the first weeks I knew you? Because I remember I was in the...
Oh, when I screamed at Cameron?
Yes.
That wasn't sleep paralysis. I think it was just sometimes like if I'm having a nightmare and like I don't even know what I saw because it wasn't even Cameron that came at me, but I saw something and I guess I just yelled at him indistinctly. I will say things in my sleep sometimes and like I had no recollection of saying it. Like I also have night terrors a lot. Well, not a lot, but I used to. And I sometimes I'll just say shit and like not even, and like I used to sleepwalk a lot when I was a kid. I remember one time I walked out on the couch, sat down, and looked at my mom and asked where Yoda was.
No.
Yeah.
I would. Oh.
It's scary as shit too.
It's scary.
And I used to scream too, like a lot,
Oh.
like and this wasn't like any like little baby scream, or it was like blood curdling. He is being murdered in that room scream. And I remember this one time my stepmom was watching a horror movie, and my bedroom was right next to where she was, and it was like towards the end. It was like at a really scary part, and I just sit up and I start screaming, and she was like terrified of having to walk in there to go like see if I was okay, but she knew like I'm a parent, I have to do this, I have to make sure he's okay. But like she walked in, I'm sitting straight up, like back straight up, and I'm just screaming.
No.
And then like I'll call like a minute or two later, I just laid back down and fell back asleep. Yeah.
I've only like talked. I haven't done anything insane. But
screaming is like my habit. Like I did it at a campsite once because this camp we used to go to had like these bungalows, and like the things you slept in were like these little coffins. Like that's what they look like. And you had to have like these mosquito nets. Like I had a mosquito net and mine fell on me in my sleep. And sometimes my my night terrors get triggered by like sudden like things like touching me or falling on me. So like I guess in that dream I was having, I was being like electrocuted and beat with sticks. So I started screaming at the top of my lungs, and then the next day at the mess hall, the whole campground was like talking about the kid that was screaming his lungs off last night. So yeah, it's not fun. I have some more I'm gonna share, but we're almost half an hour in, so I was figuring soon we could probably take a break.
Yeah, we'll just take a quick break and we'll be right back.
All right. Guys, and welcome back to Get Stoked. I'm your host, Evan.
And it's me, Ty.
And we're back talking about dreams. So, where we left off, Ty's going to read another post, and we're going to just get right back into it.
Yeah, so this one is also on r/dreams. Dreams do come true. I sort of have prophetic dreams or something like that. They come true or they really happen. So they give a couple examples. It seems like the coolest one that I saw was one time I dreamed that my roommate took her bag and spilled all the contents on the bed. I woke up. My roommate was already up preparing her things to go out. She took her bag and spilled all the contents on the bed to transfer it out of her other bag. Cool. It's nothing like big, but like I really like those small little like moments where like it happens right after.
Yeah. Well, I told you about how like sometimes I have those moments where my dreams click.
Like the deja vu.
Yeah, the deja vu. Now, here's the story I was holding out from before. I think you'll find this crazy.
Go for it.
Now, I had this dream that me and my girlfriend at the time were walking to the parking lot from our high school to go to my car, and there's like this little tiny crosswalk there, and in the dream, she walked across. I was on my phone. She walked across. She got hit by a car. Right. So a couple weeks later, we're walking to my car. I have my headphones in, my music playing. I was looking down at my phone, and we're about to walk across the crosswalk. And because we live in Pennsylvania, it's assumed that they stop for you regardless. But I didn't hear a car coming. I didn't see a car coming. But I, out of just pure instinct, stuck my arm out and stopped her from walking across the street. And this car just flew right by through the crosswalk really fast.
Oh my god.
So
yeah. It basically came true.
Yeah, and
then you stopped it.
I stopped it. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was the craziest fucking thing I've ever done. Like I'm not saying I'm like a hero or anything, but it's just like, I stopped her from walking out in front of the street because that moment clicked in my head. Like I felt it like this felt oddly familiar when I was walking up to the crosswalk, but like I just out of nowhere just put my hand out and the car just zoomed through the crosswalk. Yeah, it's crazy.
That freaks me out.
But other than that, it's just been things like I'll be on a certain location. I'm like, I've been here before, but really I haven't. But I have, so it's like. But sometimes I feel like it'll be dreams of places I haven't even been to yet, and then it happens.
And then you go. That's weird. Yeah.
So I'll have it I had a dream about a classroom in LVC, and I haven't even been to LVC yet, and then that moment happened, and it's like, oh shit, I've been here before.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm. It happens a lot too. I feel like I get those deja vu moments all the time where I'm like, I've seen this before. I've seen this exact moment before, and it's so weird, and it just trips me out every single time.
Do you have any more?
I was gonna say.
Or any more stories, honestly.
About that, like I said, mostly it's just little things where these moments will they'll say something or my head will line up and I'll make a snapshot of that exact thing, and that's how I know I just had one. But I do have some more posts, so let me click out of here so we can look at another one. So this guy apparently spent over 9,000 hours developing a video game inspired by lucid dreaming. I'm not gonna sponsor it or whatever, but I just think that's crazy that you can make a game based off of your dream experiences.
That is crazy.
But I've talked to you about how there have been some dreams that I've woken up from, and I'm like, shit, I could have writ a movie about that. Yeah. But and the one I had recently was this haunted house thing that was kind of a puzzle we had to get out of, and it was scary, but it was just a good it was so interesting, and just the layout of the house was really neat. And, I woke up shit, I should make that a movie, but I don't know, I can't develop characters to save my life. Yeah. You've seen me play D&D. I always pick the dumb ones.
No, that's not true. But yeah, no, I get that, and also the dreams fade so quickly.
Well, a lot of people keep a dream journal, and I've actually considered.
I started.
You did?
Yeah, I caught one or two in there.
Do you have it with you?
I don't. It's back home, but I posted one of these on a Reddit, and I won't say the title of it, and I won't say which Reddit, but I will explain it, because I wrote it down, and then I was so confused by it because I thought it meant something. It it stuck with me for so much, but so 3 nights in a row, I dreamt about being in an asylum of some sort, or in a place where they were holding us. Yeah. And the first time was I was trapped with you and our friend Josh, and you two were being called werewolves by the staff, but you were people. That's what freaked me out. Is you were just people. And then one night they were oh, the werewolves are about to change. And, you guys, your heads sunk into your torsos, just disappeared, and it became flat, where your head should be. And then your shoulders got, really big and wide, and, your torsos, got slimmer, and it looked like you were, the shape of, a T-bone steak? Yeah. That, a giant torso with arms and no head. And, you just, ran around, and it was just so creepy. It was the scariest thing ever. And then all of a sudden, this girl was chasing me. And I ended up in this room. I close the door, and then there's another door. So I open it, and it's now a recreational room, where they're keeping all the crazies like me. And you guys are fine now, people. Yeah. You're in the corner of the room. You're playing Monopoly, and there's this large African American woman, and she's in charge. She is the head honcho of the asylum. She's just sitting there reading a book, watching us. And there's a table with I don't know why I remember this. There's a table.
So you're really vividly describing this.
Because this was like it was a jug of chocolate milk.
Okay.
And I took
So
the jug
T-bone steaks, chocolate milk is what I'm getting at so far.
I took the jug of chocolate milk. I walked up to her. I slammed a cup down on the table, and I poured myself a cup of
Power move.
chocolate milk. And I apparently that proved. I said, I am a competent person, and I am ready to leave. And she said, okay. And then I woke up.
What the
And
fuck?
I don't know. None of that means anything. But when I woke up, I was like, this is it. I just had the dream. Like, that meant something.
Could you imagine if, like, you know how, like, when we were in high school, you had to, like, analyze a book and try and find some subliminal message in something stupid, like the curtains being a certain color? Like, I wonder if there are people out there who, like, analyze people's dreams and trying to find, like, some spiritual meaning behind that, like, why slamming a thing of chocolate milk on the table got you your freedom. But
I Googled, like, chocolate milk dream meaning. Like,
well, have you ever seen the movie Men in Black?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't he drink chocolate milk or whatever after he's time traveled or something?
Whoa, stop it.
Yeah, it's like in the third movie after he
it's over.
After he time traveled, he's like, yo, give me some chocolate milk or whatever, and maybe that's why. Maybe he time traveled.
Do you have any of, like, the common, like, dreams that people supposedly have?
Like what?
Okay, I have a list, actually.
Mine are mainly just bad shit crazy.
Yeah, mine are too.
Like, nightmares are like, I feel like I have, like, just interesting dreams. Like, not necessarily dreams that scare me, but, like, interesting dreams.
Just weird, yeah.
Like, in order for me to be scared, like, you can almost trigger my night terrors. Like I said, if, like, you grab me aggressively, I will start to have a bad dream. And my one girlfriend, she made the mistake of accidentally grabbing me, and it's like we were at the beach, and she, like, we were staying at this, like, it's like a hotel or whatever. It was really small, and her parents were there and whatever, and, like, I was sleeping on the pull-out couch, and the pull-out couch went all the way across to the other side of the wall, and the bathroom was on the other side of me. So in the middle of the night, she has to pee. It's like 3 or 4 a.m. She crawls over me and grabs my leg, and I roundhouse kicked her in the face. I mean, now I feel like she deserved it, but anyway, so then after I roundhouse kicked her in the face, I got up and I started swinging like I'm trying to hit her, and I don't know what happened after that, but
Jesus.
I was like full on like get the fuck away from me kind of shit, and her dad like had to like grab me and like calm me down, and then like they just sat me back down on the bed, and I just like lay back down, and then I woke up, I was like, hey guys, what's going on? My girlfriend at the time's grabbing her face because her nose is bleeding, and my heart, like, their family's just like staring at me. I'm like, what the fuck just happened here?
Oh my god.
But then there's also things where like
I mean, not to fuck with you when you're asleep.
Yeah, I know, that's what I mean. Like, I always told people, like, you know, if you ever want to see me freak the fuck out, just grab me aggressively. And I always tell people, like, record me, because I want to, like, I don't remember it. Like, right after I woke up, I'm like, what just happened? Like, why are you guys all, like, up and looking at me? Because, like, I don't recall it. Like, I'll know when I do it, because, like, the next morning, like, my throat will hurt. But that's the only indication that I did anything that night. But, like, my parents were like, yeah, last night you screamed. I was like, no, I didn't, because I don't remember ever even getting up out of my bed.
Oh my god.
But they say I didn't. I always tell people to record me, but nobody has yet. So I told Neil, I said, Neil, one of these times you should just, like, he's my roommate. So I told him, you should just grab me, get your camera and record, because if anybody can handle me while I'm going complete psycho, it'd be you.
It is Neil.
But, yeah. But I've also done other crazy things myself. Like, I've literally gone and taken a shit while I was sleepwalking.
What the fuck?
I'm not even kidding you.
That scares me. Like, the fact that you can, like, experience that and, like, you're okay
don't even
with
remember it.
experiencing
And I don't remember it.
That terrifies me. Like, lost time.
It's fine.
I broke the rule.
Yeah, it's okay.
Lost time, like, scares me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that. Oh.
Yeah.
I'd be so freaked out.
Yeah, I remember the one day after I took a dump while I was sleeping, my dad was up because he can't sleep because of his back or whatever. Mm-hmm. So he was up and he asked me what I was doing, and I just hugged him and said I loved him, and then he put me back up in my bed.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, I've done like a lot of just like I've walked around completely walked around the house screaming, like at the top of my lungs, like yeah.
Oh my god.
And this one time at Boy Scout camp, we were in a cabin, and like there were bunk beds. I was on the bottom, my friend was on the top, and they had to move him down because there was like bugs in the one corner of the wall or whatever. So they moved him down in the middle of the night. This motherfucker, like he's sleeping, and he just goes whap right on my shoulder and swings his arm around, and man, it freaked me the fuck out. Like it's scary. Like I don't even remember what I dream about when that happens. It just happens.
Oh. I'm a very like dead dreamer, so I've never really experienced that.
Yeah, where like you move around or say stuff like.
Yeah, I do move around, but like I've never, as far as I've been told, done anything.
I do remember telling Cameron to shut the fuck up, or like to get the fuck away from me, because like I think I remember that dream, because I just remember like the thing that was coming towards me, and I was like, still, like, he wasn't even out of his bed. He was laying in his bed, but I just yelled it, and I guess I yelled at him on the outside to get away from me.
From our perspective, like from the people who were living next to you, we knew you for about. I was roommates with Neil, who's now your roommate. But we were. It was like 3 days into knowing you, and like I barely knew you, and like all of a sudden in the just pitch silence of the night, just like, get the fuck away from me! It's like, oh shit, like somebody's getting murdered. Like no one knew what the fuck.
Yeah, I remember
happening.
being terrified in that moment too. Like I feel like it was super aggressive to him. And like the next morning, he's like, "Why did you do that?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't even know what you're talking about." Like,
yeah, I mean, like you must have been so stressed anyway with just like
everything that was going on at the time.
Yeah.
So it was I don't remember why, but I also convinced that house was semi-haunted. But we'll get into that for another episode.
That'll be definitely another one.
But so anyway, I think it's your turn to talk about Reddit.
Oh, okay.
That's like all my night terror stories that I can remember at least. Like I said, a lot of it's just me screaming, or like sometimes I'll scream. I guess the one time I screamed my brother's name because I needed help, and I guess even one time I saw like my girlfriend at the time die, and I texted her asking if she was okay in my sleep.
That's weird.
I texted her and I unlocked my iPhone with my thumb, pulled up messages, texted her, "Hey, are you okay?" And then all in my sleep. I shit you not, because I woke up the next morning and she was like, "Why did you ask if I was okay?" And I was like, "What do you mean? I didn't fucking do that." And she's like, "You did." And I think I even tried calling her too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of okay. Could you? This is something that I think I haven't heard of, but I could see it happening because the way you're describing this, like, I'm sure it's out there, and I kind of want to look it up. Imagine, like, being asleep and like drawing or something.
Yeah.
That would scare the like if I woke up and like on my desk was like a pen and pad and it was like a very intricate drawing, something that I like awake could never do.
Yeah. That'd be insane.
Fuck that shit, I'm out.
That'd be crazy, yeah.
But also that would be so dope, wouldn't it?
It would be pretty cool.
I actually don't have any more.
You don't have any more?
I've exhausted all of mine.
I think I might have another one or two in here. Shoot, maybe I think I might have gone through all mine. Oh, here we go. Oh, did you go over is this a coincidence one?
Oh, no, I didn't. Thank you. Okay, you saved me.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so it's another precognition one because I'm obsessed with that concept and like the deja vu. But this woman, I'm assuming, this Redditor, had a dream that she was in a garden with her mom, and her mom said like, your sister is having a child and she's going to heaven today, and like her name's gonna be Sunshine. And when she woke up, like her sister called her like an hour later and was like, "I just had a miscarriage."
Jeez.
And like so like she dreamt that like her mom told her that like her sister's daughter was gonna go to heaven, and then her sister was like, "I just had a miscarriage."
How do our brains? Do you think that's coincidence, or do you think that we are like capable of predicting events in our dreams?
I don't know. Like part of me, I'm very much so like. I mean, we're probably gonna have a whole thing about religion eventually, but like I'm typically just like not religious.
Yeah, either am I.
But at times it's so hard to like deny some like weird like supernatural thing happening. And
well, we have a tendency to use like religion to explain what science can. So I mean, something like that is like, how.
And I also think there's a certain level of like we are. Like biologically we want to see patterns and signs and things because that's how you stay alive. Like if you notice that like every time the wind blows like a tree falls to the west or whatever, I don't know. Like,
it's a pattern.
Then you don't live to the west of a fucking tree. Like
it's if you know a volcano is gonna erupt, you don't live.
Yeah, or like if you notice, like that's why we get scared when like if you step on a twig but it's dark out and you see it's a snake. That's why you have an immediate reaction to be afraid of it as a snake, because your mind is like, it's better if I assume that that's a snake and it's just a twig than to assume it's a twig and I get bitten by a snake.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
And so I think there's like some like subconscious like, it's like our brain is like trying to make a connection because I think we want to make a connection.
Yeah, well, a lot of it could be like the crazy what ifs that like we seem to have in our heads. Like, what if this happened? What if this happened? But like, what are the coincidences? Like, what are the chances? Like, you're like, what if my sister had a miscarriage? And then the next day, like, that's just like
that's insane.
Supernatural.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy. Like, there's no way. Like,
that couldn't line up.
It doesn't make any sense. And it's like, when you think of like stuff like that, it's like there's got to be something like. There's so much we don't understand about our brains and how they work that it's like you can't like just throw it up to like science and hope that like they can figure it out because we just don't understand a lot about how our human brain works. Like the whole concept of dreaming alone is just crazy, and it's like, are we the only ones that are capable of doing it, or can animals do it too? Because I feel like how does that work?
Well, yeah, like I mean, have you? Like, I don't know if you've seen the video, but there used to be, like, a famous video of a dog that was, like, dreaming in its sleep, and then it wakes up as it's, like, running in its sleep, and it, like, runs into the wall.
Yeah, my dog goes like that when he's dreaming.
Yeah,
so I think
and my dog also, like, bark and whimper in his sleep. Like, he'll like, go, like, oh, and it's, like, all, like, I always think they dream, but, like, I don't know. Yeah. And how do you know? Like, scientifically, like, is there a way?
And where are, like, these dreams coming from, too? Like, because like I said, I've told you some of my crazy shit that like has nothing to do with anything I've done recently, but it's like, and it feels like your dreams will come from like things that you haven't seen in like a really long time. And it's like, where are you pulling this from?
Yeah, like why? Ooh, actually, here's a good question for you. What is like the earliest dream that you can remember having?
Oh boy. Honestly, it's probably one of those night
terrors.
One of those night terrors, or like the sleep paralysis ones, because it was genuinely such a scary moment in my head that like it stuck to me because it was terrifying. Like I used to be scared of the dark when I was a kid for those fucking reasons, and yeah, people would bully me. It's like just imagine laying in your bed in the pitch dark and you hear footsteps come up your stairs, and somebody comes and pulls you down the fucking stairs. But actually, I think that there was another dream that I remember that was similar to that, where I got yanked down the stairs, but it was like wasn't them. It was like this pit of darkness and like this like. These like monsters were like pulling me in. I think that's like the earliest dream. I tend to remember my nightmares more than my good dreams because it's just like
they have a lasting impact.
They have a lasting impact because they're scary. Like they put fear inside of you.
No, they really do. Yeah.
Like there are people who are too afraid to sleep because of what they see in their head.
Yeah, I think actually that's something I saw a lot when I was like scrolling.
Another question for you: what do you think people who have like what's it called God, I can't think of the disease where like schizophrenia. What do you think they dream about?
Oh Jesus, I don't know.
Because I mean, they hear stuff in their own heads during the day. Like, can you imagine what their dreams are like?
Yeah, I wonder. I can't even speak to that. I have no knowledge of it. But like, I wonder if it's just more of the same, or if it's actually like a relief from reality.
Yeah, well, that's like a similar question. What do you think of people who have like, disorders like brain disorders, or are they capable of dreaming? Or like I guess it varies from person to person, but like someone who's like say autistic, are they able to dream at like full capacity like we are? Or?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Something I know like other people have said, like as far as like I think I had heard people ask like individuals with blindness, like do they see in their dream?
That's a good question.
But honestly, like, and I can't speak for them, but like logically I would assume
there's got to be something there.
I would assume that you perceive your dreams in a similar way to in which you perceive the world.
Yeah.
So like it's like people don't see black when they're blind, they just don't see. So I'm assuming that in the same way that we don't see that color that wasn't yellow but was yellow, that guy was talking about, like their conception of vision, of seeing, doesn't really exist because you've never seen. What is seeing if you haven't seen?
Yeah. Well, have you heard the theory that like we see in black and white? Do you believe that? Because I feel like I don't.
The theory that we see in
black and white. I remember reading somewhere that we only dream in black and white.
Really?
Yeah. But I feel like I've had dreams where they've been in full color. And like what would limit us to be only being able to see in black and white?
I don't know.
So that's like another crazy thing I've seen too. But there's just so many theories about how and why we dream the way we do, because it's just like it's like there's so little we understand about the world and like our own human minds. So, but yeah. So I do have another one too.
Okay.
So this one is, they tried to keep me in. In my dream last night, I had to use the restroom. While I was doing so, I realized that I was dreaming. I'm not normally a lucid dreamer. Nearly every time I realize that I'm dreaming, I try to wake up. In this case, my thought process was that if I'd used the restroom in my dream, I may have done so in real life. I tried to wake up, but I couldn't. At this point, I started to panic. For background information, I live in a 1-story home with my parents, a brother of mine, and a sister of mine. In the dream, I was in a 3-story home. I ran to find my parents. When I was searching, I went into a bathroom. I remember thinking that I was dreaming, so anything that I let myself be afraid of, would be in there. So I tried to be sure that there was no demons in there, and there weren't. I found my sister in a bed in one of the rooms and left her alone so she could sleep. I eventually found my parents. I vaguely remember... Sorry about the noise.
I'll be right back.
We're
unfortunately in RA. You can continue talking.
Yeah, anyway, but I eventually found my parents. I vaguely remember Oreo cream formed into rings and covered in chocolate. I told my parents that I was dreaming and that I couldn't wake up. By this time, I was crying and had been praying as well. I am deeply religious. My mother looked surprised, circled mouth, wide-eyed, like she'd been caught. She looked much better, but it looked like he knew. I'm sorry. She looked at my father like that, and he tried to convince me that I was dreaming. He hid his surprise much better, but it looked like he knew as well. My mother then started crying, trying to do the same. When they realized that I wasn't going to buy it, I saw the image of my father begrudgingly using a cotton ball with alcohol on it to scrub the label off of a prescription bottle. That's when I woke up. So, I guess what I'm getting from this is, he couldn't get out of his dream.
Sorry, I was just catching up. Oh my, okay, wow.
Could you, imagine that being stuck in your dream?
It's like one of those situations where, you just keep waking up.
Yeah.
And you keep waking up.
See, but, I've never realized I'm dreaming, so it's
Me neither.
I don't know, I don't even know how I'd react in a situation where I realize it and I can't get out.
That's awful.
I hate being stuck in places where, I'm unable to get out. So, I'm being stuck in my own head, you could, cause yourself to have a serious anxious breakdown and, there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I would have a complete breakdown.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, the whole concept of dreaming
mm-hmm.
is really cool, but also terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
Because, your mind can really decide
Go
to mess
places,
with you.
yeah.
And you have no control over it.
Yeah.
And that's what's, terrifying. It's I'm going to show you your worst fears, and I know your worst fears because I am you.
Yeah, that's insane.
And I'm not going to filter it.
Yeah.
I think that's terrifying.
Yeah, it really is scary. Do you have any stories? I feel like you haven't shared many stories, so...
Aside from the dreams I've shared, not really. I remember, this will probably be my last story, I guess, because we're probably
Oh, we still got a couple. No, we're still good for 5 more minutes.
Okay. So this is probably the most, my most remembered dream that I've had, and I believed in dream catchers for the longest time after this because I dreamt that we got a pool in our front yard for some reason,
mm-hmm.
and as I was playing in the pool, it was filling up, and I wanted to jump into it because I kind of grew up redneck.
Yeah.
So we were filling up our pool with a hose, and it was an above ground pool, whatever. And as I was waiting for the pool to fill up, I was in swimmies. I turn around and there's this fox, a fucking but it was a wolf, bear sized fucking fox.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents weren't there, and all of a sudden these snakes were around my feet, so I was frozen in fear, and the fox was sprinting at me about to attack.
Jeez.
And I in my dream, the image froze as if I was watching a movie. Mm-hmm. And then fell apart like sand.
What the heck?
To blackness, and then I woke up, and it was one of the first nights my parents had gotten me one of those gas station dream catchers.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you're just traveling on the side
mm-hmm.
of the road and it's there, and I religiously kept that thing ever since then because I thought it saved me from dying to a fox.
Yeah, I wonder what gets to decide in our brain whether or not we're gonna have a nightmare or a good dream, because it's you can go to bed completely happy, not seeing anything scary at all, and then you have the worst nightmare of your life. So it's now, granted, I've had nightmares after I've watched a horror movie, because I like to do that late at night and
mm-hmm.
spook myself. But it's I've also had nightmares where nothing should have initiated this dream. Why does my brain decide, hey, you're gonna get scared tonight and you're gonna like it? But No, it's just I haven't had like a really scary nightmare where like I've woken up panting because I'm so terrified recently. But like I know what it's like to be there, and it's like, why the fuck does my mind do this to me? Like
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, that's you have any other thoughts on dreaming?
On dreams.
You want to talk about what was that other thing we talked about, the astral projection?
Oh yeah, I mean that's something we should definitely do like a whole thing on that. But like
just a little bit here.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people who talk about dreaming about seeing themselves dream.
That's crazy.
And like astral projecting and stuff like that to me is even like the meta of dreaming.
Isn't it like walking on another plane of existence?
Yeah, supposedly.
Jeez.
Like you project your like soul, like Doctor Strange style.
Yeah.
Which we should do a whole thing on that. Let us know if you want us to do a whole thing on that. And I'm sure there's some like astral projection. There's also like another concept that we should explore. There are Reddits on dimension hopping.
Oh yes, let's definitely do one on that.
Changing your present through like one of the methods is like you turn off all the lights and you stare at yourself in the mirror, and you like visualize that the person on the other side is another dimension you with a slight change, and you imagine you basically force your like consciousness through the mirror, and supposedly things change. And like there are people on these subreddits that I was reading where like they'll notice small changes like like the Reddit color is now blue.
Well, have you ever heard of the Mandela effect where like things are different because definitely let's do one of those. Okay. That would be fun. But like that's like our universes collided or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you see like the Berenstain Bears things and like Fruit Loops shit like that. But let's definitely do one on that too.
So,
but just let us know what you want to see. We're gonna try and keep you updated as much as possible as when we post stuff, what we're gonna post about. But I think this was a fun first episode. Hopefully you got a good taste of what's coming, and
let us know about your dreams. Like what kind of interesting things have happened to you. I would love to hear like your scariest, your best.
And you bring up a good point there. Like you might be asking, how are we supposed to share this with you? Well, if you want to share some of your stories with us to check out, maybe every once in a while we're gonna do an episode where we look at our subreddit that we have started. So if you go onto what is it?
r/Get Stoked podcast at Reddit.
And post your stories. Post like your comments, what you think, like anything. Like we'll go through it every once in a while and check out what you guys have to share with us. But I think that's going to be about it for today. Anything else to add?
Also, be sure to check out like our Instagram at Get Stoked Podcast.
Yep. We'll try and post weekly when like maybe we'll do polls on what you guys want to hear about. Keep you updated on times we're gonna post. We're gonna hopefully try and post every Monday night.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do our best.
But just keep an eye on it. Check us out. And
give us your feedback. This is something new that we're gonna do, and we want to keep it going. And we also want it to be a discussion of sorts, right?
Yeah.
Like we want it not to be us talking because that's not fun. It's more of us engaging with what you guys want to talk about, and like, so really just like let us know what you're looking for. What do you like, what don't you like? We appreciate your feedback, and we want to get better at this. Like this is our first attempt at this, so we're excited to keep going and see where we go from here. But and thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. So this has been a Get Stoked podcast. You stoked, bro? I'm very stoked. But thanks again, guys, and have a good night.